Browser fingerprinting is such a shit show of a topic on here on YouTube, with so many of these privacy YouTubers recommending 40 plus different extensions, and they're talking about no, use this browser and these extensions and change these settings, run these scripts and all this stupid bullshit to try to prevent tracking and browser fingerprinting. And I think it's stupid as shit. Okay, my take is that trying too hard to look unique makes you look unique. It's actually best to just blend in with the sea of other generic browsers out there, rather than trying to make yourself stand out as hard as possible by going against the grain, as much as you possibly can, by downloading all these tons of different things that, behave certain special ways that just make you light up like a Christmas tree, right? And that's what we're going to be talking about today, and I can even actually showcase this for you. So I'm actually using the Brave browser right now, and instead of using Brave Shields, I'm actually using uBlock Origin, just because that's what I know. So if I go ahead and show you this here, this is the EFF Cover Your Tracks website. Now we're actually going to be using this throughout the video to showcase what I'm going to be talking about today, which is that trying to overly protect yourself from browser fingerprints just makes you stand out, right? And this website can actually show you that, because it's using a real tracking company for actually trying to, because what this website does basically is it scores your browser based off of how fingerprintable it is, how trackers view your web browser. So I'll go ahead and actually run this test real quick, and we'll see what the results are. So you can see that my browser right now has actually strong protection against web tracking. I'm blocking ads, I'm blocking invisible trackers, and as far as fingerprinting goes, my browser has a randomized fingerprint. So we can actually see the specific results here. So if we just look at the default view, then this is my user agent right here, which is just a string that basically tells websites what your browser is and what it can support. And this is all the information that websites would see, right? And as you can see, a lot of this information is very generic, right? It's just saying Mozilla 5.0, Apple WebKit, Chrome, and Safari. It's showing the different acceptable headers for HTTP. I'm in America / Chicago time zone. This is a pretty generic screen size, even though actually this is incorrect, but this is a pretty generic screen size. System fonts, all very generic stuff. All of these are just default Windows fonts. Cookies are enabled, that's standard. Limited super cookie test, yeah, this is pretty generic, right? And as you can see, even like all this information, English, Windows 32, all of this looks so generic, right? Nothing about my system is standing out. Maybe 32 gigs of RAM, right? In this day and age, right? With all the prices and everything. But, and also I just realized that my camera is actually like blurring out hardcore. Hello. So as you can see here, my browser is, if you saw this in a sea of other browsers as a tracking company, I would not stand out in the slightest. This looks super generic. I look like just a Chromium user using an ad block, which makes me one of millions, right? And I'm on Windows, right? And nothing about this is out of the ordinary in the slightest. Maybe having a bigger monitor screen size that it's claiming that I have, right? But other than that, nothing really stands out. All right, so we have Librewolf here, and it comes pre-installed with uBlock Origin. Now, if we go ahead and go into settings here, we can see some of the things that it's doing. So it automatically sets our browser privacy to strict, which blocks a ton of this stuff. And then if we scroll down further, as far as they updated this since I last saw it, does enable HTTPS only mode. If we go in here, it enables resist fingerprinting, and it hides the WebGL per site pop-up. And it does a couple other things as far as hardening and stuff of privacy and security goes. So if we go ahead and go back to the browser fingerprint test, and we'll go back over to cover your tracks, and you see part of its anti-fingerprint detection is that it actually forces you to use light theme for everything, because it's trying to make you blend in more. But you got to think, we are on a very specialized and heavily resistant fingerprints browser That's pretty unique, and it's a Firefox-based browser. So let's go ahead and run this test here and see what it says now. So you can see it says we have strong protection against web tracking because we are blocking tracking ads and invisible trackers, but we have partial protection from fingerprinting. So if we actually go ahead and look at the detailed view now, it just says Mozilla and Gecko Firefox. So that reveals that we're specifically using a Gecko-based, Firefox-based browser. And then if we look further, we have the browser plugin details. It sets our time zone to the Atlantic in some random region, which this definitely stands out. I'll tell you that now. Compared to just American Chicago. This screen size also is a very unique and quite strange screen size, 1920 by 927. That's very atypical. You don't ever really see that. And then the actual system fonts is still just the same generic Microsoft stuff. And then if we look through, WebGL actually had a type error here. I wonder if that's an error from this actual tool that I'm using, or if this is something to do with the browser fingerprinting. Language is standard, platform standard, touch support, and then it has different touch support options. No JavaScript, and then hardware concurrency, and then no memory. So not providing this detail is actually pretty unique. I feel like most standard, just regular Chromium browsers that most people are using does actually provide this information. So if you're not, that makes you stand out more. But as far as our results go, I think it actually shows here. We estimate that your browser fingerprint conveys 14.54 bits of identifying information. Now, within our data set of several 100,000 visitors tested in the last 45 days, only one in this number, 23,848.21 browsers, have the same fingerprint as yours. So out of several 100,000 visitors tested in the last 45 days, we are 1 in 23.8 thousand with this browser. We stand out like a goddamn Christmas tree right now. This makes us stand out extremely compared to just a standard browser like that, right? And if I take you back to the actual Brave browser, the Chromium-based browser, we are your browser fingerprint has been randomized among the 333,887 tests in the last 45 days. Although sophisticated adversaries may still be able to track you to some extent, randomization provides a very strong protection against tracking companies trying to fingerprint your browser. And then we have 18.35 bits of identifying information. So if you're looking at the bits of identifying information, this browser is losing. But as far as actual genuine fingerprinting goes, we are blending in so much better compared to this browser that's all about privacy and security and fingerprint protection and whatnot. That browser's standing out like a goddamn Christmas tree, and I keep bringing that up because it's so true, right? Like out of a sea of all these just regular fish flying by, you are a whale just flying, swimming through the middle. I almost said flying and then driving. I am really tired, but you get my point, right? It's a better idea when it comes to fingerprinting and browser tracking to just blend in with the crowd. That is your best move. Get Brave browser like I did, and then just have either the regular built-in Brave shields, which will probably make you blend in even better, or just get uBlock Origin like I have, and then you're basically good, right? You're blocking ads, you're blocking trackers, and you're blocking, you have pretty strong protection against fingerprinting, and you don't need this sophisticated, over the top, extreme privacy browser or security browser like Librewolf that makes your browsing experience shittier, and also limits what you can do with it, and at the same time does the complete opposite of helping you in terms of browser fingerprinting. But hey, why should you just believe the random idiot with crazy hair on the internet that you're watching right now? The answer is that you shouldn't. You should actually test these things yourself and come to your own conclusions, do your own research on this topic. But this is my opinion on the situation. This is my takeaway from it, and I just showed you from the EFF, the Electronic Frontier Foundation's Cover Your Tracks project, their tool that's freely available. I showed you what the results were and what they say about their hundreds of thousands of users that use their tool and how the browsers differentiate with that. So you can come to your own conclusions, but I just recommend you do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Don't just blindly trust what one idiot's telling you online. That's really about it.